like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing. We got Dylan Smith on the line already. How you doing tonight, Dylan?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. How's it feel to finally get kicked into the D4D program?
Oh man, it's been a long time coming. I can tell you that. 6 years of trying to figure out what I got to do to break through, and it just kind of all happened this year. So I'm so excited to get going here. We got our first race in March at Hickory, and I can't wait for it.
So give everybody your a little bit of a background about how you got into racing and how you got to where you got to.
I started when I was 4. My dad out of Vermont. I'm from Randolph, Vermont, and my dad started spotting for a Bush North car out of my hometown, and saw him race and watched him go karts a couple times. And I was like, dang, that looks pretty fun. Let's go try that. It's been a good race ever since then.
Cool. So this combine that you went to, this was the 6th time, right?
Yeah, this is number 6.
I mean, most of the time everybody says 3rd time's a charm. You're going to have to make a whole new saying for everybody.
Yeah, I know. Usually I say 3 for Dale, so I don't know what I'm gonna have to figure out something for 6. But I'm really happy that it went through this time.
Good deal.
Now, you say you're from Vermont?
Yeah, Randolph, Vermont, right in the middle.
I would assume then, being a New Englander, that you were very happy about Sunday night.
Oh man, I mean, I was at Kenny Wallace's. I think I was the only one jumping around excited. So yeah, I was pretty stoked. I wish I could have been in Boston watching the parade.
Among race drivers who come from Northeast, Ricky Craven's probably the best known. Is he sort of the guy when you were coming along? Was Ricky Craven sort of the guy you might have looked at and thought, you know, if he can do it from Maine, I can do it from Vermont? Is that the way it worked, maybe?
My dad I always heard a lot of stories about Ricky, and I was lucky enough to meet him this past week at the Hall of Fame for the first time, so that was pretty cool. And I did look to Ricky, but honestly, I just looked to drivers at my local track at Thunder Road people that Ken Squire owns. They kind of, I wanted to be racing with them, and I never would have thought they would have made it this far, so I feel very blessed.
Now, it's a long way from the middle of Vermont to NASCAR country. Has that been the goal from day one, or did you ever think, well, maybe I'll do sports cars, maybe I'll do open wheel cars, maybe I'll do some drag racing? Was NASCAR always the objective right from the start?
Oh yeah, NASCAR was 100% it. It's been since the get-go. Like I said, my dad spotted the NASCAR Bush North team, and I was always in the shop, helping with little stuff like pulling decals off and going to the racetrack with them and stuff like that. So I had no other aspirations other than getting a NASCAR. And honestly, I don't know how well I do in a form of racing that you're not allowed to touch each other. I like it old school, hard short track racing pretty well. So NASCAR's always been it for me.
Now, what is your schedule like this year? You say Hickory's your first race. Have you got them laid out after that?
We got it pretty well laid out. Jefferson, our competition director at Rev, has got a good schedule. I think we got like 15 at Hickory, a bunch of 100 lappers and a couple of 50 lappers mixed in there. And then we got 2 at Langley. I'm really looking forward to get back to Langley and race. It's been, I think it's been like 2 or 3 years since I raced there, so I'm really excited for that. I get to do the Hampton Heat this year, so that's going to be really cool. I think that's it for right now. I'm always looking for, more opportunities to get off racetrack.
Among drivers, among late model drivers or K&N drivers or whoever you talk to, what is the general opinion about Langley? Is it as difficult to get around as we've always heard from people who only come in once or twice a year? Is it pretty tough?
Yeah, I would say it is. I mean, it kind of depends. I would say it kind of depends a little bit on your driver style. You know, like you can look to my Haas automation teammates like Cole. Cole can get it done. He's proven he can get it done. But when they went to like the small bull ring, you know, they kind of struggled a little bit, and I think that just had to do with his background, being used to, you know, going really fast and being on the edge like that. Whereas you're at Langley, it's all about momentum and trying to keep it up. So it just depends on what your background is, I would say.
Do you remember where you were and what you were doing when you got the phone call or you got the message that you're in the program, that you made it? You remember much about that moment?
I remember two moments very specifically. The moment that I went to my first draft for diversity combine, and then the moment that I got picked for my first being selected for the first time. And it was right after we had just won the Cup championship with Sir Haas. It was that Monday that I got my phone call that I got selected to the program. So I was already on a high with the Cup team, and then I was on another personal. Even I don't know what's past Class 9, but I was way up there. I was so excited when I got the call.
Did the call come from Max Siegel or from somebody else?
Yeah, it came from Max and it came from Jefferson. We talked a little bit briefly, and I went over to the shop that afternoon, and you know, we sat down and I just kind of expressed my gratitude towards everybody.
Have you and your family sat down and decided that, okay, if you're not at a certain level by a certain age, in other words, if you're not, just for lack of a better example, say if you're not in the truck series within 3 years or Xfinity within 5, you're going to maybe look at doing something else, or are you just going to take it as it comes and not worry about the progression?
You know, my family luckily has been supportive. Every family's supportive of their child, but my family's been supportive kind of differently. They haven't been hands-on in my career like a lot of people's families have. We don't come from a racing background. We just come from, you know, a pretty average background. So my parents have just supported me, and since they can't support me financially, it all comes down to me and how far I can go on my own, you know, finding my own support. So I've talked to a lot of people about kind of where you need to be, and I've kept a good pulse on like the ages of everybody around going up and down series. And I don't know, I kind of feel like you can go, if I can get to, you know, Xfinity at least by like 25 or 26, I feel like I'm in a good position to move on. And if not, then as long as I can drive a race car still somehow, some way, in some capacity, I'll be extremely happy. Not everybody can do that, be as fortunate to do that. So I'd be happy with that too if it doesn't all work out.
Now, how old are you now?
I'm 22. I'll be 23 and I'll be 23 in June.
Yeah, you got time. You got time.
I got a couple of years off.
Yeah. So I guess you were in Charlotte last week on the media tour when they introduced all you guys. They paraded you out on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was there. That was pretty cool. I've watched it a couple times, and you know, this is, like I said, it's my 6th year going to the combine, and you know, I always felt like I was good enough to get in. So, you know, at first when I got it, I was excited, but it really didn't hit me until I was at the media tour and going up on stage, and you know, the tweets and the text and everything starts flooding through, and that's when it really hit me like wow, this is a real milestone in my life. Like, I've been trying to do this one thing for over 25% of my life, and now it's here, and it's reality. So it was a big moment for me.
When you came to Langley for the first combine, do you remember what driver? Was there a local driver? Was there a Langley guy that talked to y'all about this is what you should do, or look out for this? Or do you remember who gave you the best advice on getting around that place?
Yeah, I think I have to say it was Casey Wyatt, because originally how I was supposed to go to Langley was I was supposed to be in a second car with Casey, driving for his family team, and we just couldn't pan it all out. And and but we were lucky enough to find another deal, and Casey really took me under his wing, and by that point I had not a ton of laps, but I knew the line and what I was looking for and what I wanted out of the car. But it was good to have someone that would bounce ideas off of, like, hey man, kind of struggling with this right here. What direction would you go? You know what I mean? Just setup wise. So Casey, it was good to have Casey there during my timeline.
You'd have no way of knowing this, but I'm going to give you some history. Back in the 60s and the early 70s, Langley got what was then called Grand National races, which are now Sprint Cup races. They had 9 races there over a number of years. Every driver who won at Langley, David Pearson, Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, Bobby Isaac, and Ned Jarrett. Every one of those 5 men who won at Langley at some time or another, either that very same year or later in his career, was a Sprint Cup champion. So Langley may be the only track around where every winner of its Grand National Sprint Cup races was a champion. So to get around that place pretty well, like you obviously did, you're in pretty good company.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome for the racetrack to be able to hold on to that. The history on racetracks is really important. I think it makes people want to keep going to the track and keep a good history up. And matter of fact, I did know that, and the only reason why I did know that you guys Langley had cup races was because I talked to Wendell Scott Jr. and we talked about Langley for a little while, and he told me that they used to run there.
Yes, his father ran here. Dale Earnhardt Sr. raced here. Rusty Wallace, Darrell Waltrip, Denny Hamlin really got his start at Langley. So almost anybody in racing, Buck Baker, Buddy Baker, Pete Hamilton, from up your way, Pete Hamilton, by the way, from Massachusetts. Almost everybody who's anybody in NASCAR at some point in time has tried to get around Langley, and some of them did it pretty well, some of them didn't do it well at all. But you're in good company to have gotten around it well enough to have been selected for the combine and to get into the program. So congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. How awesome is it? How weird is it for you guys to see Langley go from having cup races, and then you see cup races barely go to short track, barely go to like a half-mile or mile track anymore? How weird is that?
Well, I think obviously Langley could not seat enough people and charge enough money to make a purse that would pay a cup race, and they'd have to have soft walls to begin with. But for like 9 years or 7 years, they had a cup race, at least one cup race every year, and it was a big deal. It was a huge deal in this area because, again, everybody who's anybody at some point in time was in those races. So it's quite a place now. Now you live in Charlotte now. You don't live up in Vermont now, do you? I hope.
Hey, Kenzie.
I've lived down here in the Concord, Charlotte area for this is my fourth year or 5th year.
Okay. Do you ever look at the weather up in Vermont and think, it's a pretty good decision to come down here?
Yeah, some of my friends up in Vermont, sorry about it, you guys are in a bit of a prison right now. I have been on the phone with a bunch of people lately because I'm racing at New Smyrna next week with the American Canadian Tour, which is out of the New England area. And so I've been on the phone with a couple of those guys, and they're like, hey, how's it going? How's the weather? And they're like, it's a blizzard. And I'm like, well, it's 60 out here, so I'm doing good.
Yeah, you're right now. You got the world right where you need it. So
yeah,
just keep your head on straight, and you'll be okay.
Oh, I love it. I'm planning on it.
All right, Dylan, we'll go ahead and let you get going, and I'll catch back up with you another time.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good one.
See ya.
Hey, Kenzie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fine. You got myself and Al Pearce here with you. This is Kenzie Ruston, driver with the D4D, and you're going to be running in the K&N Series, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good deal. Well, give everybody a little bit of background about yourself so the people out there that haven't met you before learn something about you.
Well, I'm Kenzie Ruston. I am 22 years old, and I'm from El Reno, Oklahoma. I got a little bit of a late start in this racing world. I didn't start racing until I was about 13 or 14 years old. I was always grew up around racing. My dad always raced dirt bikes, and my grandpa grew up racing dirt cars in the Oklahoma City area, and I just kind of always loved it. But my dad would never let me on a dirt bike, and around the house, I guess nothing that we went to, there was little cars to race. So my dad put me in a bando at the age of 14, and kind of just became a family fun thing on the weekends. And me being competitive and growing up playing every sport that there was, I kind of took to it, and it was something that I had to conquer, and that's what I've been doing ever since. And won national championships in legend cars, and I've been the first female to do a bunch of different things, I guess, including the highest finishing female in the NASCAR Canyon Pro Series, with the second at Iowa, and hopefully getting that win this year with Rev Racing.
There you go. That would be good. Now, how many times did you go to Langley for the combine before you finally got a chance to get in?
This was actually my first year actually competing for a spot. I've been fortunate enough with my family, so I always had a little bit of money to get us in trouble, I guess. Just enough to get us in trouble, but since then, my dad definitely used it all up trying to get me to the next level, and I thank him every day for that. But so this was my first year trying out for the combine, and I got lucky enough to be one of the top picks.
Kenzie, what had you heard about Langley before you got here?
Well, I raced Canyon the last 2 years, so I've been there
Okay.
2 years with the Canyon Pro Series, but it's a little short track beat and bang. That's kind of what I came from, legend car racing and stuff like that, so I definitely feel like home to me. It's hard because it's a total circle, so it's a lot of discipline on yourself, and it's one of the harder tracks that I think that we go to in the Canyon Series.
So you were here last October when they ran the 3-day deal.
Yes.
Okay. The same question I'm going to ask you, I asked the other guy a minute ago, Dylan. Do you remember where you were and what you were doing and your initial reaction when you heard that you had made the D4D program, that you had been accepted? Do you remember what was your excitement level at that moment?
Well, I was in Homestead for the truck race because my boyfriend was running the truck race, and I actually ran into Jefferson. He was like, "Hey, come over here, I need to talk to you a little bit." And I was like, my heart just dropped really, because I was like, oh my God, it's either really good news or it's really bad news. So when he told me I made it, everything, it was just such a relief, you know what I mean? Because I had nothing going on if I didn't get this opportunity, and it's really cool that Max and NASCAR have this program for diverse people. The first person I called was my dad, and then I called my mom, because I wasn't supposed to tell anybody.
So when you said you talked to you mean Jefferson Hodges?
Yes.
Okay, so people will know who we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, you may know this. Jefferson is from here, this area. His Uncle Dale raced at Langley for years. Jefferson Hodges and his family go back at Langley a lot of years. So it's kind of cool that he gets to come in here a couple of times a year and be a part of the program, because he and his family have helped make Langley what it is through the years. So it's appropriate that he would be the guy to give you the good news.
Exactly. It was really, really cool.
So you're running the full schedule this year, correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And that includes starting next weekend at New Smyrna, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this Sunday.
Yeah, the same Sunday, this coming Sunday? Sunday week.
A week from this Sunday.
Okay, that's Cup qualifying day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, it's a big track. At the other track, as they call it.
Yes.
Okay. I can't be two places at one time, Roger.
Oh,
What am I gonna do?
are y'all different times when are you racing when they're qualifying?
Our race is at nighttime.
Oh, okay, I'll make it.
Got you covered.
I can make it then.
Yeah.
I can make it.
Kenzie's a very nice young lady, very well spoken. I've talked with her at Langley. I don't know if you talked with her or not.
Probably. Now, you were in Charlotte last week for the media tour where they paraded you guys out on stage and everybody looked kind of self-conscious and you didn't want to grin too much, but you just couldn't not grin, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've never really been any part of a big announcement kind of like that, so it was really cool to experience it.
Would it be presuming too much to assume that you're a big Danica Patrick fan, or is that indeed true?
Oh, well, I've always kind of just wanted to be my own person.
Good for you. Oh, okay.
I mean, I support her,
Yeah.
what women try to do in this sport, and I think it's really cool what she's doing, but I feel like there needs to be a woman coming along and winning, so I definitely stick by her, because I feel like us women do need to stick together, but I don't feel like I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah. But growing up in Oklahoma has not produced very many big-time NASCAR drivers that I know of. Who was kind of your hero growing up? Who was the guy that you looked at as being kind of the driver you really enjoyed watching?
Well, like I said, I grew up around like local dirt tracks, and I really was just into like the local dirt track racing at home, and I really looked up to my grandpa. He was like one of the oldest guys out there and still winning, and it was just really cool at 60 years old to go out there and win races and stuff at the fairgrounds in Oklahoma City. So that's definitely who I looked up to when I was younger. But like I said, I wasn't really into the whole NASCAR thing yet when I was younger. My dad was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan and a Steve Parks fan, so those are people that I watched. But
Okay.
the person I definitely looked up to is my grandpa.
Well, let me ask you one last question, and I'll let Roger have you. Was there a moment? Was there a particular race or particular moment when you got out of your race car after the event and you said to your father, "This is what I want to do. I'm hooked. There's nothing else I want to do. This is it."
Mm-hmm.
Or was it a cumulative thing where you begin to feel that, and then you race a little more, and you get to more of a feeling, and eventually it's a large body of work that convinces you, whereas some drivers can point to the exact moment they knew they wanted to do this. How was it with you?
Well,
Or do you remember even?
yeah, I do remember. I remember exactly. I guess it was my first time ever in a car. I had been begging my dad to get a go-kart or something like that. We never did, and we were at Texas Motor Speedway. There's a 5th Mile out back, and that's where I drove my first Bandolero car. And it was just a test session. And I got out there and I made some laps, and I was kind of slow, and my dad was like, "What are you doing? I know you can do this. I've seen you. You're fearless." And I was like, "Well, Dad, it's not mine. I don't want to tear it up." And he was just like, "You go out there, and just do what you're going to do, and we'll figure out if you like it or not." And I got out of the car the second time, and I had this huge smile on my face, and I was so excited. I was like, "Dad, this is what I want to do. This is exactly what I want to do the rest of my life." And it gives me, like, I played sports growing up my whole life, and I'd never felt anything like that for the first time. Like, that was my first time feeling something like that. I knew it was something that I wanted to do.
Yeah, okay. I asked Jeff Gordon the same question one day, and Jeff Gordon told me that somebody, he did not remember who it was, or if he did know, he didn't tell me. He was given a 2-day Buck Baker driving school course at Rockingham. And he had never been in a stock car. He had been in open wheel, sprint cars, midgets, everything. And Jeff Gordon was headed for Indy. He was headed for the IndyCar series. And he said within about 5 laps of driving a stock car at Rockingham at a driving school, he abandoned all idea of running anything except NASCAR. So he had that one moment, just like apparently you had one moment that determined your fate.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah, okay. Roger?
Now,
Ask me some good questions.
Now, when you were at Langley, who did you have that was able to help you out learning the track when you first got there?
Like this year?
Yeah, basically, because I know they usually have somebody helping out the D4D Combine with one of the local drivers at Langley.
Oh, I don't remember a local driver being there this year. My first time ever to Langley, I was with Turner Scott, and they had Steve Falk come in and talk to us. And he was one of the biggest people that kind of gave me pointers that I never really ran a circle or like a circle where you never stopped turning track like that ever. And he gave me some really cool pointers. But this year I don't think there was a local guy. I know Darrell Wallace came and kind of hung out with us and helped us out a little bit this year.
You know, you may have heard the story about the K&N race on the backstretch at Daytona 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They had a triple header one night, maybe a Wednesday night in the middle of Speed Week, and none of the drivers leading on the white flag lap actually won the race. And you may remember that Kyle Larson led only the last lap of the K&N race because he very blatantly, very obviously wrecked the leader going into turn one on the last lap.
Mm-hmm.
You may not remember that that driver who got wrecked was C.E. Falk.
I remember that. Was that in the late model race?
It was in the K&N race, I think. Wasn't it?
Yeah, and well, he had the late model race. CE was in. I don't think CE ran the
Okay.
K&N.
Whatever.
Right, but he ran the late model race. But
Kyle Larson was the guy that wrecked him. And Kyle Larson mentioned at a media event not long ago that he would think twice about wrecking somebody now because he caught a lot of grief. He said it was just a late model race, but he said I caught a lot of grief in the garage area from drivers who were telling me you don't need to do that. If you can pass him, you know, you hit him once, and if he recovers, you got to let him go. You don't hit him twice. You sure don't hit him 3 times. So, yeah, but CE raced at Langley for years and did quite well. Won a championship, I think. So, he was a good guy to listen to and learn from. So, you're in pretty good company there.
Yes, sir.
All right, Roger, what are we doing next?
Oh, we got just another one of the D4D drivers online.
Say goodbye.
You want to thank any quick sponsors while we still got you on the line here, Kenzie?
Well, I just want to thank Max Siegel and everybody at Rev Racing for giving me the opportunity this year. And hopefully we'll see you later this year in Langley.
Sure thing. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing. How you doing tonight, Natalie?
I'm doing great, thank you.
We have Natalie Decker on the line with us. You got Al Pearce and myself, Roger Brehm. Going to enjoy talking with you here. How's everything been going for you?
Everything's been going great. Now I'm living in North Carolina.
Go ahead and give us a little bit of background about yourself so people learn something about you and know how you got to where you got to.
Well, I grew up around snowmobiling with my father. He raced snowmobiles, and he owns a track in Wisconsin, the World Championship Snowmobile Derby. And he kind of got me into it. So I started racing snowmobiles when I was 4, and I didn't really like it too much. I kind of quit at an early age. And I saw what go-karts were when I was around 6 or 7. I was like, hey, Dad, come on, please, I really want a go-kart. And he wouldn't give me one. I was like really upset. So every day, like when he would take me to school, I asked him every single day, like for 3 years. And then he finally got me one when I turned 9 on my 9th birthday. And I raced go-karts for 3 years. And then I moved into cars, and I slowly started working my way up through the cars.
Now, you have a racing family, so to speak, don't you?
Yep, my 2 cousins, Dave and Claire, also raced.
I think they all came to the Combine last year, or 2 years ago, I think.
Well, you had Paige and yourself were there this past one, right?
Yeah, Claire was there too. We all 3 tried out together these past 2 years.
Now, y'all are from Wisconsin, is that correct?
Yeah, we live right next door to each other.
Okay. But you're in Wisconsin?
Yep.
where there's snow probably halfway up to your house today.
Yeah, there's a lot of snow up there.
Yeah. Well, now, do you live there now, or do you live down in the south?
Now I'm living in North Carolina.
Okay, okay. Well, first of all, I want to commiserate with you. I was pulling for the Packers 3 weeks ago when they played Seattle, and I thought the Packers were going to win, and I really was kind of upset when Seattle beat them in overtime. But I was pulling for New England Sunday night, so it's probably just as well that the Packers didn't get to the Super Bowl, because New England would have beaten them too. So don't worry. Anyway, we're not going to talk about football because that football's over. Thank God. Now, what is your schedule for this year? Where are you racing? How many events? Give us some of your background or some of the prospects for what you're doing this year.
I'm racing for Rev Racing. I'm racing their late model. Oh, I'm racing all the races at Hickory for late model, and then we're only racing 2 races at Langley.
Oh, okay.
And I'm racing Speed Weeks with my super late model back from Wisconsin.
Down at Speed Weeks at Daytona?
Yep, at New Smyrna.
Okay.
So, yeah, you've got your own team then, in addition to your Rev Racing team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That works out good.
You get a lot of seat time like that.
Now, what did you think of Langley was this the first time at Langley for you this past time?
No, I tried out the year before too.
You were racing the combine at an earlier time?
I tried out, this year was my second year trying out.
Okay.
I've asked the other 2 combine drivers, the other 2 diversity drivers, this same question. Do you remember exactly where you were and what you were doing when you were notified that you had made it this year? You remember who called you and kind of what was that conversation like?
Well, my dad, I think, got an email really early in the morning. I was sleeping, and I think it was like a Saturday morning. I'm not too sure. I can't really remember. But I thought there was a fire in the house. Like, my mom was freaking out, screaming. And I woke up. I was so scared. I didn't know what was going on. First, I was late for school, and then I thought there was a fire. And she started jumping on my bed, and I was like, what's going on? Tell me. And then she finally told me that I made it onto the Rev Racing team.
And then you started screaming.
Yeah, and I started freaking out too.
Oh, goodness.
That's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal. Now, how old are you now?
I'm 17.
Okay, so all this, I mean, you've got, some of the other people we've talked to are in their early 20s. You've got a lot of years to kind of prove yourself before you begin to get worried that maybe you're too old to move forward. In other words, if you were 23 or 24, you might be a little bit worried that you've only got a year or two to prove yourself. You've got quite a ways to go, don't you?
Yeah, well, it was just my first year last year in the Super League, so I just feel like I'm right kind of where everyone else is. When I started racing Super League, I saw a lot of other 17, 18-year-olds right around my age racing.
When you made the combine, when you made the roster this year, your 2 cousins did not make it. I think you're the only one in it. Is that correct?
Yep.
Do you sort of kind of feel sorry for them a little bit, or do you? Are they happy for you? Have you talked to them yet? I'm sure you have, but what's been the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, we all support each other and everything, and what they're doing back at home. I'm really excited for them, and they're really excited for me. So I think it's all good. Like, they got a car racing back in Wisconsin, and so I think it's going to be a good year, and we're all really supporting each other.
Now, being from Wisconsin, obviously, Matt Kenseth comes from up that way. The late great Dick Trickle comes from up that way. You're only 17, so it's kind of strange to ask you who was your racing hero growing up, because you still got some growing up to do. But as you became aware of NASCAR, who were the drivers that you most sort of looked at and wanted to be like or pull for?
Well, I was really little and just racing go-karts. I really liked Mark Martin.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then I really, really liked him after I found out that my dad used to race against him because my dad did a little car racing.
Okay.
I was like, oh man, that's even cooler. Rich Pickle, I really liked him, and I could just talk to him and hang out with him a lot, so I look up to him a ton.
So you sort of, I mean, they're the two guys you mentioned are sort of, I don't want to say they're old, but they're not active any longer.
Legendary?
Well, legendary, yeah. Rich Bickle and Mark Martin both. Are you not kind of a Matt Kenseth fan? How can you be from Wisconsin and not be a Matt Kenseth fan?
I'm a Matt Kenseth fan. I mean, I really like a lot of the drivers. I don't really have a certain favorite one.
Okay. We're not trying to make you like somebody. We're just curious.
Did you have one that you mainly looked up to?
I look up to a lot of them. I look up to Danica too, and just because of what she's all done, that she's a girl and she kind of paved her way and other girls' way to do what she is doing.
Okay.
She's kind of opened the door for you and your cousins and other young ladies. So, yeah, she's probably a good one for you to emulate. And if you can be as popular as she is, you'll be okay.
Yeah, and I also really look up to Chase Elliott. And I remember when I first saw him race at Winchester, and I realized like how smooth he was and when he needed to be aggressive and him saving his tires, and I really like that about him. So I really also look up to him and his driving style.
Let me ask you a question about Chase Elliott. Do you think, as a fan of Chase Elliott's, would you like to see him drive the 24 car next year, or would you like to see him drive the number 9 car that his family and his father made famous? Just as a fan, which would you rather see him in?
As a fan, I would like to see him in the 9 car.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that because if he drives a 24, he will always be compared to Jeff Gordon. If he drives the 9, he'll be compared to his father, but that's kind of okay because that's who you're supposed to be compared to, your father, not some other guy. So, yeah, I agree with you. I'm glad you think that way. That's good. And I don't know that Rick Hendrick will retire the number. Well, he can't retire it, but he may set it aside like Childress did for the 3 car. So, at some point in time, 24 may come back, but I wouldn't mind seeing Chase drive the 9 car either.
There's a drive for diversity people.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's Natalie.
All right, that's good.
She gets to be the blonde bombshell for this year.
Well, you said that. I'm not going there. What about sponsors? What about other than Rev Racing? What kind of sponsorship can we give you a few minutes to talk about?
I know Toyota, like a lot of like Toyota, NASCAR, just Rev Racing gets a lot of different sponsorships and Nike, I believe. And back at home, I'm sponsored by Amsoil and Kim's Fiesta.
Oh, okay.
So World Championship Snowmobile Derby, my dad's race track, of course.
Now, when will you you at New Smyrna Beach starting next week? Is that correct?
Yep. I think I practice, so I think I start something on the 12th or the 11th.
Oh, okay.
That's around there for me.
Okay. Because I think the K&N cars are there Sunday night of qualifying weekend. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sunday night. Okay. And I guess they race there almost every night. So it'll be a busy time for you.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Well, now, with everything y'all have been doing as a family, are they going to be coming down there with you and enjoying the time when you're racing down there for that week?
I believe that Paige and Claire are coming down and sharing a car to race at New Smyrna.
Okay. Now, with the racing you're going to be doing for the Drive for Diversity group, or Rev Racing actually, how's that going to affect your other racing that you have for your team that you're already doing for now?
Well, I'm focusing all my time on Rev Racing, but when I have an opening weekend where I'm not doing anything, I'm going to go back and just so I can stay in the car and get as much seat time as I can, and I'm going to go back and race back at home.
Cool. All right. If you don't have any other sponsors to thank, we're going ahead and let you get back to what you're doing, and hopefully you have a nice, good race.
Wait, hold on.
Whoops.
You say you're 17?
Yep,
You're in high school, obviously, or are you done yet?
I'm in high school.
Okay, you're a senior, I would think, or
Junior.
okay. Do kids in your school know you're a race car driver?
Yeah, they all know. I don't think some of them understand. Some of them race snowmobiles and motocross.
Oh, okay.
But some of them don't really understand. And then as soon as I had to move for racing, they're like, "Oh wow, this is crazy. Like this is serious."
But will teachers give you a break when you've got to be in Florida for 3 or 4 days during the school year? I mean, you get, I assume, I would hope you make good enough grades that they would not kick you out of school for missing days. Is that right?
Yeah, I do all my classes online.
Oh, okay.
I school back in Wisconsin.
Okay, good. Well, do you haven't, I mean, I know that you want to be a race car driver. Have you even thought vaguely of maybe going to college and trying to do both?
Not right now. When I graduate high school, I'm going to keep focusing all my time on racing. But if something doesn't work out with racing, I'm definitely going to go to college, and I would like to get into like criminology and forensic science and all that stuff. And I also always wanted to fly like a fighter jet, so that wouldn't be bad to go, sign up for.
She really wants to go fast.
Go to the Air Force Academy. Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, listen, appreciate your time. Go back and study. Do your homework, because you got to go to Florida next week, and you'll be missing some days. So, anyway, thanks so much, and we will see you at New Smyrna sometime the next 10 or 12 days or so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Kids, 17-year-old kids.
Oh, jeez. Back in the day, I mean, did you ever think, Al, when you first started doing all the reporting that you've been doing over the years, that you were going to see young kids this young getting into racing when you've used to seeing guys that are in their 30s and 40s doing it?
People don't realize that this is an incredible statistic, but it's true. Harry Gant, everybody's beloved Harry Gant. Harry Gant did not run his first full Cup season till he was 40 years old. The year he turned 40, 39 to 40, the year he turned 40 was his first year in a Cup car for the whole series.
So would you start thinking when all of a sudden all these young kids are popping in here and...
You think they're not going to last, but they do. You wonder. I mean, Jeff Gordon was only 21 or 2 when he came in.
Yeah. And
I don't believe anybody thought he'd be around for 25 years.
Speaking of young kids, we have Sergio Pena on the line here with us.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
There he is.
Didn't mind listening to us talk while you were there, did you?
Oh, no, it's always good listening to guys talk.
I was just asking him because we were just talking to Natalie Decker, one of the Drive for Diversity people that made it. She's only 17 years old, and Al has been around since... Did they have typewriters back then, Al?
Barely.
Okay. When he started reporting on all the driving and everything, and we won't get into that first race, but all the people he was used to were in their 30s and 40s racing, and nowadays all the young people out here that getting out here and starting, hearing of kids starting at 4 years old racing, in the karting series, or somebody's riding motorcycles across the desert, things like this.
Well, Sergio's, what are you now, 22 or 3, something like that?
I'm actually 21.
Okay.
My birthday is actually February 13th. I'll be 22 in just about a week.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Okay.
Yep.
Next Thursday, is that right?
I'm still young, but I feel like I'm getting old. Yeah, next Friday. My birthday's actually Friday the 13th this year.
Okay.
Ooh, and 21 on Friday the 13th. He's going to be in trouble that night.
That leads to all kinds of.
Somebody needs to lock you up
Yeah,
somewhere,
what?
Sergio.
Where will you be next Friday night?
Next Friday night, you know what? I am not sure. I have no plans as of right now, so we'll see. I'm not sure yet.
You won't be in Daytona Beach, though? Or you don't know yet? Okay.
No, I won't be. As of right now, I won't be anyways. That's a bummer, but, we'll see.
You still trying to hook something up?
Yeah, trying. As you guys know, I'm not back with Red Racing for this year. Fortunately, I had a great run with them, for 3 years. So, it was good fun with them. Super thankful for the opportunity, but I guess they want some new, fresh, young faces in there, and it's completely understandable, so. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Right now, though, nothing for Daytona.
Do you have any? I mean, do you have a late model ride? Are you working with somebody to get anything? I mean, surely we haven't seen the last of you. I hope.
No, definitely not. You haven't seen the last of me. We're working on some things for this year. Hoping to run, at least some of the bigger K&N races. Like Iowa, Dover, those kind of races, Richmond. It's just tough, man. This sport is getting really hard, and it's always been hard. It's never been easy. I've had a lot of lucky breaks getting for your eyes, from people that believe in me, especially some of the people in NASCAR and the draft diversity program. But that time's kind of come to an end now, and it's basically working on finding sponsorship. It's just very difficult. So, still plugging away, still going at it. I'm actually back in Virginia now. In the meantime, I need a job while I'm not racing, so I've actually been back to Virginia. And we have a racetrack up here called Summit Point Motorsports Park in West Virginia. And I'm actually a driving instructor right now, training Army, Navy, FBI, CIA, all those guys how to do defensive driving.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's always fun.
So, it's keeping me busy, but still I have the urge to race right now. So we'll see. I should be getting in the car here soon, though.
Now, where's that located exactly? I mean, I know that part of Virginia, but exactly where's it located?
Summit Point's actually up in West Virginia. If you go pretty much 81 north into West Virginia, near Charlestown.
Oh, right, okay. You said West Virginia. Yeah, I knew. Okay, that's Summit Point, the old famous Summit Point. Been there forever.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome track.
Okay,
they got
3
or 4 tracks out there now, and
Yeah.
one specifically for the government training that we do. So I had to learn a lot, though. It's a lot different than driving around circles fast. It's a lot of defensive techniques about avoiding terrorism, this kind of stuff like that. So it's pretty cool, but definitely not racing for sure.
Not too far from Winchester, where you're from.
Yeah, it's only about 15 minutes or so.
Okay, yeah, I know where you are. Okay, I know where you are. It's
Yeah.
has when you sort of when you've had some success, and you've definitely had some success, and you have to step back a little bit sometimes. Do you see things, Sergio, now about the sport that you might not have appreciated or seen when you were right in the middle of it? When you step back, are there things that are more understandable now than they used to be?
Well, I think it's always been obvious at this sport. You got to be a good driver. You got to have good equipment. You got to have a good team. That's always been part of it. And the past 5 or 6 years in the K&N series, I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by good people, good equipment, good teams, and been able to perform well. So the one thing that is very frustrating is that the money part of it, just finding sponsorship is so hard. And I'm not just complaining. Everybody's in the same boat as me. Believe me, everybody's in the same boat. So it's tough for everybody. I mean, there's so many good drivers kind of sitting out on the sidelines right now, just kind of waiting for an opportunity, waiting to see if they can find some sponsorship, waiting to see if all their hard work's going to pay off, dude. So, like I said, I've never given up, that's for sure, never given up. Still going to plug away 110%. So, yeah, it is, that's one thing, you kind of look a little frustrating. You look at football, basketball, something like that. You have natural talent, you work hard. It's still very, very difficult to make it. There's just a lot less factors that are out of your hands, So we'll see. Yeah, it can be frustrating at times, but like I said, everybody's in the same boat. So.
Was there a moment when I mean, I know you're still very, very young, and I'm sure I know the answer to this question, but Has there been a moment when you and your family have thought maybe, you know, we put a lot of money into this stuff and it's probably not going to happen. Maybe I should go back to school and get a degree and get a real job, or are you still hanging in there holding out hope?
Yeah, you know, well, reality does set in when, you know, you don't, you know, a year when you don't have a full-time ride and, you know, you still got to pay the bills somehow, you know, so, you know, like I said, I'm about to turn 22 here in a week, and, you know, I feel like I'm growing up pretty fast, and yeah, I mean, definitely reality. It's been, I'm going to go back to school here. I went to Radford for 2 years, like you know, and so I'm going to be going back to school, getting a degree, and you know, stay busy at some point as much as possible. I'm trying to find some more sponsorship to continue to race. Yeah, but definitely not giving up. You know, I'll never give up on my dream. It's all I've done since I was 6 years old, and as long as I'm still able to stand up and you know, physically able to climb into a car, I'm going to keep on continuing to pursue it.
It would seem that it might be tempting, Sergio, to take almost any ride that came along, whether it was a late model or a backmarker K&N or whatever. But are you in a position to maybe expect something a little bit better than just a junk car or a fuel filler? Or will you take whatever you can get right now?
Yeah, I'll take whatever I can get. And I think I've done that my entire career. I think that, man, if I have the opportunity to get a car, I'm going to do it and make the best of the situation. You know, sometimes it might not be the best in equipment, but hey, you know, you go out there and you do your best. And, you know, a true racer is going to want to race no matter what. And I think, you know, if you believe that you're a good driver, I think that you believe you can win no matter what equipment you're in. So, even though it might be a little bit more difficult, it's still possible. So, yeah, we'll see. I think, like I said, well, hopefully I'm going to be getting in the K&N car at least 5 times this year. I'm hoping. You're definitely going to try to do the road course races for sure. You know, like I said, Richmond. I thought Richmond got put back to the
September. Yeah.
Help out. Yeah, so that's going to help out a lot for me. Because Richmond was going to be the first race we were going to try to do, and getting close to that race now. So, anyways, that helped out a lot. We're going to try to do those races at least.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Sergio, I told you before, I wish I could get me a nice lottery check, get you out there, because I think you got some really good talent and you need to showcase it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, sometimes it can be frustrating seeing all your friends and teammates and, you know, moving up through the ranks and getting all these rides that you were thinking you're going to get to, but it is what it is. You know, there's only 43 spots in the Cup Series that can field the show, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that want to be there. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. Never give up.
Yeah. Now, I know you were out here for the Combine in this past October. I know it seemed like you were having a lot of fun, helping out everybody and actually doing a little crew work too.
Yeah. No, we had a good time. The Combine's always fun. You know, I've been lucky enough to be invited out, you know, 4 or 5 times now, and this past time I wasn't in the car, just kind of helping out all the new drivers coming through, kind of coaching them, you know, showing them what they can do better, what they, you know, kind of help them out what to expect, because if it's your first time going to the Combine, it's a lot of pressure, and you don't really know what to expect. You know, there's a lot of faces from NASCAR, people that you've never met before, and, you know, people you don't really know who they are, and you're not sure, you know, how high up they are in NASCAR or what, so it's definitely a lot of pressure, and then you get behind the car, you know, most of these people haven't even driven anything like late model before, so it can definitely be a lot of pressure, but everybody handled it pretty well. I think this year they had a really competitive fight, so I'm looking forward to watching and seeing how they will do.
Now, did you give any of the drivers any pointers to help them around the track out at Langley?
Yeah, you know, I think me and who else was driving? Me and Jay Beasley, we really showed them how to call the pit maneuver. We drive the vans around, and we drive all the drivers around the vans, and we're, you know, doing a little bumping around action in the van, so just playing with them. But no, you know, I think the main things, I try to help them more with the out of the car stuff, because obviously if they've been selected to go to the Combine for a reason. You know, they've all proven themselves as a driver, and I think what they're looking for is their social skills, you know, what they can do in front of the camera, how seriously they take the event. You know, I think they're under the spotlight the entire time as you're going through this thing, so they want to see how seriously you take it, if you think it's just a joke or what, and you can tell the people that take it seriously, you know, have a whole entire different demeanor towards the people that are just kind of there, having fun, hanging out, so, and usually those are the ones that end up getting sick.
Cool.
Let me ask you one last question. We'll let you go back to what you were doing. This has got nothing to do with you or K&N or anything like that. If you were a betting man, if you had $100,000 to bet, and you could go to Las Vegas and you could put $100,000 on this year's Sprint Cup champion,
Yep.
who would you bet on?
Oh man, this is a good question.
Just take all the emotion out of it. Don't tell me who you hope wins. Tell me who you think is going to win.
Who I think will win here? Let's see here. You know, I'm gonna have to go with one of the Penske cars. They're so good. I know they were so strong last year. I'm gonna have to say Brad Keselowski's gonna win it again. I think he's a heck of a driver, and he had a lot of drama going on this year. But I like the way he drives. I like his attitude towards things. You know, when you're a driver, you leave it all out on the table. And there are some iffy calls there, but you know, I think I agree with every single thing that happened with him this year. You know, not only am I pulling for him, but I think he will win it because he's got a great team. He's a great driver.
You should turn the tables on Al and ask him the same question.
Carl Edwards.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Carl Edwards.
Who do you think will win it?
Carl, yeah, I've already picked him in my magazine. Yeah.
You know, I actually was going to say that. That was going to be my second choice. Because, a lot of drivers do really well. Like Kenzie Ruston, whatever, did really well. So.
And here's the reason why. I don't have a reason why. I just think he's been so close.
He's due.
So many times, he's overdue. And the other question, Sergio, my last question. This is my last question.
No, keep on asking away. I got all the time in the world.
If you were Chase Elliott, I'm sorry. If you were Chase Elliott, would you rather drive a car with number 24 on it or number 9 on it next year?
I would rather drive with number 9.
Yeah.
You know, that's just been his number forever. You know, ever since K&N, as long as I've known him, that's been his number. I know Jimmy was his here growing up, but you know, he's going to obviously follow up in Jeff's footsteps in the 24 car, but I think Chase stayed true to that number. I know growing up when I raced go-karts, Formula cars, late models, my number was always 58 growing up. That was after Montoya. Montoya's number in go-karting was 58 and all that, so I stuck to that number as long as I could. And, you know, I think this year we run this K&N races, we'll do the same thing. I'll stick with number 58.
See, my thinking is if Chase Elliott drives 24 next year, every time that car goes by a grandstand,
Jeff Gordon.
people are going to be thinking about who? Jeff Gordon.
Yeah.
Now, it's one thing to be compared to Jeff Gordon. It's another thing to be compared to your father. And Bill became famous in number 9. I would much rather be driving a car with people comparing me to my father than I would be comparing me to Jeff Gordon. Because Chase wants to become his own man, and he can't. I don't think he can do it driving 24. I really don't.
Yeah, you know what? I think that number 9 is going to change to from Bill Elliott to Chase Elliott.
Well, I talked to Richard about it on a media tour last week, and Richard just told me flat out, hey, if the kid wants it, he can have it. Richard said, I don't have any emotional attraction to 24, or to number 9, which is one of his car number now. Richard said, the only car number I got any attraction to is 43. And he said, if Chase Elliott wants 9, he can have it. So I'm thinking they may have already, you know, and the reason I think Sergio, the reason they announced that Chase will be in the 24 car next year, I think they had to have something. They had to have a number, and I don't know that they were ready. I don't think Richard was ready to give it up because Richard told me he had already sold that number sponsorship to sponsors who want that number. He said, you know, I couldn't come back in the middle of February and take that number away from my sponsors. If you give them a year's notice, then next year we'll have another number, and we're going to give 9 to Chase Elliott. Richard said, I can sell him on that. He said, I couldn't sell him on giving him the number like right now, announcing it right now. So I would not be surprised if Chase drives number 9 next year.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised either.
We'll see. Okay, stay warm and dry up there in Winchester. I know it's probably snowy and cold up there.
Yeah, actually today was nice. It was mid-50s today. It's been in the 20s and lower than that, so we had a nice day today.
All right. Well, we will hopefully see you somewhere at a racetrack sometime soon in a car that can get up front, because I know you'll put it there.
Yeah, definitely. I will be tweeting and Instagramming all the time, getting updates about what's going on. But, like I said, I think we're going to shoot for Iowa for our first race, and then we'll go from there.
And as I've told you 1,000 times, if I can help you, let me know.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
Bye, Sergio.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, time to eat. Well, it's 8 o'clock. It's after 8 o'clock.
It hit 8:01, which is normally the time you say it's time to eat.
I'm on overtime now.
All right. Well, you can have an extra crab cake then.
We're going to the Chinese place.
Oh, okay. Well, have all the extra whatevers you want
There
then.
you go.
All right. We'll catch everybody next week on Let's Talk Racing.